Friday, June 27th, the foreign ministers of Rwanda and DR Congo signed the much-anticipated US-brokered peace agreement in Washington, D.C. after more than 2 months of a mediated process. The agreement was inked by Foreign Minister Olivier Nduhungirehe of Rwanda and his Congolese counterpart Therese Kaikwamba Wagner and was witnessed by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Speaking to the New Times on phone, Rwanda's Foreign Minister Nduhungirehe said that the historic agreement has the potential to end the 3 decades-long conflict.
This is a historic peace agreement between the DRC and Rwanda, which has the potential of bringing to an end this conflict that has been going on for more than 30 years. And we hope that if this agreement is implemented, it will bring stability, peace and security, as well as economic prosperity and integration in the region.
On his part, Belgian Honorary Senator Alain Destex said that the agreement was an important move towards lasting peace between Rwanda and the DRC, but pointed out what he termed a weakness in the agreement.
This agreement is very, very important because it has been signed by the 2 ministers of foreign affairs and will be probably soon by the 2 heads of states in Washington. It is also very important because it's under the auspices of the United States. This is the first time the first superpower of the planet is involved directly in signing a peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda. It will hopefully be a lasting piece of agreement between the 2 countries who had a very difficult relation in the last 30 years. But it doesn't solve the crisis inside the DRC at all. And this is, of course, the possible weakness of this agreement, which is between 2 countries. But as we all know, there is a major crisis inside the DRC.
This is not the first agreement to be signed with the aim of bringing peace and stability in the region. So what makes the Washington Peace Agreement different from the rest?
This agreement has 3 main differences, I would say, with previous agreements. First, the Washington Peace Agreement is linked to another agreement that is expected in Doha, Qatar, between the AFCM23 and the government of Congo. You would recall that the Rwanda peace process collapsed in December last year on this very issue, as the government of DRC had categorically refused to engage into dialogue with the AFCM23. Now the government of DRC has evolved and has accepted to dialogue with the M23. And on Friday, when we signed the Washington Peace Agreement, the 2 parties committed to support the ongoing talks in Doha so that a peace agreement is reached as soon as possible. I would recall that these peace negotiations in Doha are internal negotiations between Congolese parties, the DRC and the AFCM23, which would address the root causes of this crisis, which is the marginalization and the persecution of the Congolese Tutsi. And we hope that the parties will be able to address the root causes once and for all, and to reach an agreement on the security arrangement in eastern DRC. The second difference or improvement is the regional economic integration framework. This is a new element that was included in this agreement, which did not exist in previous agreements. So we have agreed to work on bilateral integration with co-management, discuss or agree on the co-management of national parks, on hydropower, development, especially through the Rusizi 3 projects, the exploitation and co-management also of natural resources in the Kivu Lake, such as the methane gas, and also on working together with the US and the DRC on the de-risking of mineral value chains, no, mineral supply chains, sorry. And we have also discussed the the critical minerals value chains, meaning from end to end, which is from mines to the finished products, the metal that is used in electronics, and then an agreement on this economic framework is yet to be approved, and we believe that the summit that was convened, that will be convened by President Trump in the coming weeks, will also be an opportunity to sign this regional economic integration framework. And the third difference is the mediation of the US, the involvement of President Donald J. Trump, his leadership, his steadfast commitment to ensure that this agreement is implemented. I believe that it is the first time that the US is committed to such a level to a peace agreement in the Great Lakes region.
The concept of operations of a harmonized plan for the neutralization of the genocidal militia group FDLR is one of the important elements in the agreement. Is Rwanda optimistic that this militia group will be neutralized? This is what Minister Nduhungirehe had to say.
In the Washington Peace Agreement, we have committed to implement the concept of operations of the harmonized plan for the neutralization of the FDLR and the lifting of Rwanda's defensive measures. This is a document that was adopted by experts in the Luanda process on 31st of October last year and approved by the ministers on 25th November 2024, also in Luanda. This agreement was integrated in the Washington Peace Agreement, and it is even an annex to this agreement. And the document is accompanied with a timeline of implementation of the CONOPS, which will have to be achieved over 90 days. And of course, as I said, we have been cautiously optimistic about the implementation of the agreement because by our experience over the past 25 years, we know that many agreements were signed and few of them were implemented, or even none of them was implemented as it should be, especially because of the lack of political will and good faith from the DRC government. Now we hope that as we have the political weight of the United States, which will work with Qatar and the African Union, they will have enough influence to ensure that Kinshasa implements its part of the deals and neutralize those FDLR. When we talk about neutralization, we of course we should follow what is in the CONOPS, which goes first with sensitization for disarmament and a peaceful return to Rwanda. Otherwise, the force will be used against this movement, and we know that it's a difficult task because the FDLR have been supported by the DRC government and are currently, as we speak, embedded in the FRDC. But we are cautiously optimistic, and we will work with the DRC and also the the guarantors, the mediators, to ensure that the DRC delivers on its commitment.
According to the Belgian honorary senator Alain, the DRC has to do the heavy lifting as far as the disarmament of the FDLR is concerned.
The agreement focused mainly on the disarmament of the FDLR, which is the task that Kinshasa has to accomplish because only Kinshasa can do it. How are they going to do it? That remains a mystery because we all know that this terrorist organization is deeply infiltrated in the Congolese armed forces, FIRDC, including at the highest level. So the obligation on Rwanda are much more militant, and also the agreement recognized that Kigali has legitimate concern for the security of its border with the DRC. There is no mention of Rwandan intervention in the Congo. The agreement speak of defensive measures by Rwanda, which seems fully justified for any country to take defensive measures to protect itself and its border.
The peace agreement outlines the involvement of UN agencies in supporting cooperation between the DRC and Rwanda, particularly in facilitating the return of refugees. However, questions remain regarding the credibility and impartiality of the UN, particularly MONUSCO. Speaking to the New Times, Ambassador Fatuma Ndangiza, a member of the East African Legislative Assembly, is of the opinion that MONUSCO's mandate and performance should be reviewed.
I think for me, it's high time that, much as we know that UN has played some positive roles in the area of peace building, peacekeeping. Of course, when you look at MONUSCO, having been in DRC for the last 25 years, a lot of money spent. But when you look at the results on the ground, they are still wanting. I think it's high time probably that the United Nations and in particular the UN Security Council reviews the mandate of MONUSCO. Maybe at the time it was deployed, the conditions and probably the expectations might have been different. But today, as we see it, if you continue with the MONUSCO outfit that we have, the MONUSCO outfit that we have today, it is not up to the task in addressing the challenges of advancing peace and stability in the DRC. So I think Rwanda, of course, and other key parties are supportive of MONUSCO, but the way MONUSCO is operating, if it continues, it might be irrelevant. And at the end of the day, of course, it is also spending huge resources where all our countries are taxpayers. So I think it's high time that the international community and other major powers reviews the role of MONUSCO, the performance, because if at home where countries have for performance contracts and constant evaluations, what about a body like MONUSCO? So I think it's high time that evaluation of the performance of MONUSCO is done, and then, if possible, they can review its mandate, but also ensure that it delivers.
The AFC M23 movement has welcomed the peace agreement between Rwanda and the DRC, but warned that it only addresses a small fraction of the root causes of the conflict. In a statement issued on June 30th, AFC M23 coordinator Colonel Nanga described the US brokered deal between the two neighboring countries as a positive but limited development. He emphasized that the Qatar-hosted talks that brought the AFC M23 on the table is critical to complementing the peace deal brokered by the US.